I think it's an interesting question. If you and I could spend a day with five people, who would we choose? Well, I've spent 6 hours in the last day with Jensen Huang, and no, he didn't. I didn't go to the convention, and no, he didn't come and spend a day with me. But what I did was spend about 6 hours watching his 2 hour video repetitively and studying it from the Consumer Electronics Convention that they had. I believe it was Monday evening. And if you haven't done that, I would ask you, if you want to know something about investing and you could spend a day with any five people, who would they be? Well, mine would be Elon Musk. And I did. I spent as much time as I could when David Faber was interviewing him last year to get inside his head. I find every interview I can with him. And Sam Altman, who brought us AI and ChatGPT, he's a key player. I'd want to spend a day with him. And Mark Zuckerberg, he's on top of this. He's probably of the big behemoths. I think he's attuned as well as most. And then I also think that I'm going to try his name, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. I saw him about a week ago. I spent about an hour, maybe hour and a half with him in an interview that I saw him do. Because, I mean, I got to thinking, if I could spend an hour with each of these people, they could tell me so much. They could fill me in as to how all this is going to work together, because I believe this is the best investment opportunity that I've ever had. Yeah, I made some money off of the digital revolution, and I recognized Amazon as it went along, and I've made some money off of Facebook and Microsoft over the years, and Apple. But I never really got in on the ground floor and figured out what's going to make this work. And as I break it into basically three investment categories, one is going to be who's going to deliver me in the long run, who's going to deliver me AI. And I think it's basically the same people who have delivered me the digital revolution. It's Apple, it's Google, it's Amazon, it's Microsoft, and it's Meta. And then I'll throw Tesla in there as the sixth one. So I have to own them because if I look back 20 years and I put those six companies together, they're going to have given me an average rate of return of about 30% year over year. So I got to own them, and I'd probably be best owning those six in a Roth IRA and adding my $7,000 equally amongst them each year for me and my significant other. And if I had done that 20 years ago, in 2004 through 2024, I'd have $4 million today of tax-free money. And I suspect, unless something changes dramatically, I could do the same thing between 2024 and what would that be, 2044, if I went into those five companies. But then there's another element of it that I want to be a part of, and that's who's going to be the leaders in bringing us AI, and who's going to facilitate the delivery of AI to me from those six, and that certainly is NVIDIA. I think it's the number one. But there are other companies, and Jensen showed a slide in his presentation. You can see Jensen very small in there, and he lists these. I would guess there are 30 companies up there that he sees as partners for himself. And then in his talk, he talks about Micron being the chips that are in the Blackwell chip and how many there are of that. And then he talks about ServiceNow, and he talks about Siemens and Perplexity. And those are all companies that are going to facilitate Amazon, Google, Microsoft, the big six, in bringing me AI. So I need to spend some time in investing in them, or investigating them and seeing if they're properly priced. Again, that's the rub right now on NVIDIA. Oh yeah, it's a big thing, but it's overpriced. It's overvalued. Well, not if you really listen to what Jensen is saying. They had 2 good years, and they have really grown as they're selling the GPUs to the hyperscalers. They sell about 40% of them to, let's see, it would probably be Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, probably 40%. And then they sold a lot to Apple, or no, to Tesla. And then they sell quite a bit to China. So if you put all that together, and then you look at it and say, all right, where are the other opportunities? And that's the third category, and that's the moonshots. These are the companies that Wall Street doesn't have time and can't deal with. This is Skywater Technology, which I've made about, I guess, 66% on it. But it pulled back today by 24%. So I bought some more because, again, I know what Skywater does. And I know why they went up 66%. I know why Vertiv went up 90% this last year. So, but I know they won't go forever, because they're involved in building the infrastructure. They're the companies that, and again, I say Wall Street won't mess with them because they're $6 stocks. SoundHound, they're not, Wall Street's not involved in that. They have such a bureaucracy within their organization. Can you imagine a trader comes up and says, hey, there's this stock called SoundHound. I want to put $20 million into it. What? You got to run that by the investment committee. Well, the investment committee only meets once a week, so it's going to take a month before they make a decision, and they'll probably say, no, it's too big of a risk. We're not going to invest in it. So that's my opportunity to identify those stocks. Skywater, as I say, SoundHound, Vertiv, the companies that the hedge funds can't really get involved in. So that's my third. My number one, as I said, is the big hyperscalers. I guess that's a word they're using. Those are the 7 stocks. Then there's the people who are supporting them, the data centers. The data centers are growing right now, and you're going to make a lot of money off of them. But they will get built, just like the highway got built, and you make money on the concrete and the rebar and the construction people. But once it's built, it's built. Okay. Now you have to update it. So you find a subcontract, but you're not going to make the big money there. You will now, but once that infrastructure is done, that's over. So you got to take that out of your portfolio, and that'll be about 2 years from now. And that's why I build my portfolio towards what is the price of the stock going to be on 2027. I really don't care what its price is today, except when you give me a Skywater at a 24% discount, I'm going to buy some more. Why? Well, they're the guys who make the semiconductors for the military. If you're building a submarine or a jet airplane or an aircraft carrier and you need some semiconductors in them, are you going to go to Taiwan to have them made, or maybe you'll go to Samsung in Korea and have them made? Do you remember when what is it? What's that group in Afghanistan where their pagers were blowing up on their waist and killing them? How did that happen? Well, somebody who didn't like them said, hey, they're ordering a bunch of pagers from this company in China. Why don't we go give the people in China some extra money if they'll put an explosive device on those pagers that we can blow up at will? Do you think that might have happened? Yeah, probably. So that's why the Justin Department is not going to buy a semiconductor from Taiwan Semiconductor, because they're 90 miles away from China, and China flies bombers over them every once in a while to just let them know who's in the neighborhood. So can that happen? Yeah. So who is the military buying their semiconductors from? Could be Skywater. Why would I think Skywater? Because they increased their employee count by 30% in the last 3 years, and they're investing money in more foundries down in the Florida area. Could that be? And if you'll read their news outlets and their reports, and if you'll go to the deep dive on my website, you'll hear their main customers are the military, and then other people who want custom-made semiconductors for their niche. So that's why they grew, 66% in the last month. That's how I invest. 3 categories, okay? your big hyperscaler, your Amazon, Google, Microsoft. You know them. The people then who are making that delivery possible. The data centers, Cadence, who does the simulations, Symbotics, who creates robots. These are the peripherals, and they're going to have their day, and then their day will be over, and then and the third category is the sound hounds and the skywaters. That's how I invest. I choose to share that. And then, well, no, I would say, let me put that. There's an expense involved in all this. I have to subscribe to a lot of data sources that I can then have Samantha take a look at. And then eventually Jensen's going to give me a little box that looks like this, that I'm going to pay $3,000 for. And I'm going to connect it to my computer over there. And Samantha will do this search for me every morning of all the news that's come out. She will sit in on all of the earnings calls and report back to me, and then make a podcast that I can listen to when I go out and get my exercise, so that I can stay attuned on a day-to-day basis. And Jensen's going to sell me this little box for $3,000, and that's going to do it for. So I have some costs involved. I spend right now about $20,000. I expect that's going to go up to $30,000 a month in the very near future for me to buy. So what I do is say, okay, I'll spend the money, I'll front it, and I'll do the search, and I'll put Samantha to work, and then I'll share with you what I find and how I invest, and I'll alert you every day when I buy or sell something. Like you got an alert today if you're in my tribe that I bought some Symbotics, and yesterday I bought some more NVIDIA, because again, I spent 6 hours with Jensen and I know where he's going and I want to be a part of it. So that's what I do. And then I have a Discord where you can come on a daily basis and ask me questions, and I'll give you answers, or I'll show up at our live Discord, which we have every day, and we'll interchange that way. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not a hedge fund, but I'm more nimble than a hedge fund. The hedge fund can't buy Skywater. So that's what I do. And I call it a tribe, that we come together. Friday, we'll have our stock talk where I'll spend about 2 hours with you. And we'll talk about what I learned from Jensen with the 6 hours I spent with him. And I'll probably spend another 6 hours before Friday going through that more of that call or that presentation and other presentations he's made. And if you haven't seen those, you can access them all through NVIDIA's website. So that's what I'm doing. But I just thought it was interesting to ask the question, if I could spend a day with five people, anybody I wanted, about investing, spend a day with them, get up in the morning, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and put them to bed, who would they be? And you see them on my thumbnail. It's interesting. As I thought about that, would I want Warren Buffett? I respect Warren Buffett, but no, I don't want to own Coca-Cola. I don't want to own Bank of America. I don't even want to own American Express, and I worked for them for about 12 years. No, I want the companies that are going to change my world, and that's important to me. Now, I don't have much time left in this world, but I want it to change, and I want it to change for the better, and I think artificial intelligence is the answer to that. And I want to leave a fortune. I really do want to. I want to create family wealth that perpetuates my family into the future. And I think I can do it if I keep my nose to the grindstone, and if I spend a day with each of these five people, and if I can do it once a quarter with each of the five, and then I can rotate people in and out. I think I can. Maybe I can make the billion. Maybe I can make the billion. You can help me make the billion if you'll take this video and share it with your friends and say, hey, for $19.95, you can get inside Kerry's head. And it's really kind of exciting in there. Let's get into Kerry's head a little bit more in the coming weeks. Talk to you again soon.